Welcome back, viewers. This is episode number 22.
Hmm.
And today we're going to talk about something very serious, something
Yes.
which is a burning issue. So, what is the burning issue in the world right now? Anmol? What do you think? What is the most uh, important point of discussion at this moment in this
Well,
world?
there are many. Let me guess.
Yeah,
It's war.
war. Yes, it's going on at
Yeah.
many fronts.
EVs.
Sorry.
EVs saving our fossil fuels,
Right, right.
cleaning
Fuel
out the
gas.
garbage,
But something related to that. You're very close now. What do you
cleaning
think
out
it is?
the garbage from the world's ocean.
You're getting closer.
Well, I can make
Even
a lot of guesses then. Renewable energy.
renewable energy, yes, yes. And it is all leading to something that you're talking about. What does it all lead to?
Hmm. Why not you
Yes,
tell?
I'll give you an example. Let's go back to chemistry and remember the letter C.
Global warming,
Global warming. Yes, it's basically reducing the carbon footprint,
carbon emissions.
right?
Okay.
The carbon emission, the biggest devil that is posing a threat to everything. I mean, you talk about anything. If you
Yeah.
talk or spoke about pollution, be it garbage in the sea, be it petroleum, use of petroleum, coal, whatever it is. And recently, you live in the mountains and more. Tell me
Yeah.
what has been happening out there.
Total disaster during the rains here due to,
So, for the ignorance, Anmol lives in
yeah.
Dehradun. He's in Uttarakhand. So, Anmol
So,
will give you a
uh,
brief highlight about
yeah,
what is happening.
Uttarakhand and Himachal both suffered very badly this year because of over construction on the mountains, because of so many people visiting there, polluting the mountains, drilling, and doing unwanted stuff that shouldn't be done on mountains.
Hmm.
Mountains are very fragile. They are meant to be kept,
Hmm.
they are meant to be used with care, not what they did this time. Constructing a tunnel inside of a mountain, it's not a joke. You are taking out the first
Yes.
structure. And in Himachal also,
And
all
let's
the
not forget all those the vehicles that are coming from that irresponsible tourism that is going on
yeah,
out there in both the
main
places.
problem
All
is with
those
that.
huge SUVs that come from Delhi and Haryana
Yeah,
that come into the mountains, and they're spreading so much smoke and pollution, and our
yeah,
glaciers
polluting,
melting, and
basically.
obviously all that flooding is happening because of that, right?
Yes, yes. They people go to the mountains, they litter. So if you remember, Ashwin, when we visited Almora and visited that temple, Jageshwar
Right.
Dhamad with Jageshwar. So that temple was so remote with Jageshwar, but we were able to still see litter there. People have gone there. There
Yeah,
were
yeah, I remember that. I
chips,
mean, chip
coffee,
factories.
and all that. It does not make sense. It's such a remote area, and still people have reached there, and
A remote area, it's a holy place, still people have no sanctity for
still
it.
people have no. And
Yeah.
that was one of the main reasons, that all these disasters are happening, because at the end that all that litter goes down to the streams, rivers, and then at the end it's a total disaster. And what I feel is that on mountains what Britishers did was good, but what we have been doing is not, because if you see Badrinath ji highway, it was constructed so well, but at the end they cut down the whole mountain to build that highway, and during all those rains,
Let's not
the
forget all the
mountain
trees that were
trees,
sacrificed for.
exactly. So when trees were there, though the highway was small, but it was safe. There was no
Why
landslide.
don't you talk about Sahasradhara in
Sahajdara,
Dehradun?
yeah. It was such a good place, Ashwin. If you have come down here like around 4, 5, or 6 years ago, I would have shown you on both sides of the road there were big trees, and you would have enjoyed the air.
And there was a river flowing, right?
Yes,
Which they
yes,
have
yes. Now,
they
so here's the
diverted the
catch.
river also. Yeah.
Yes, they have diverted the river, but as you told me in Bangalore, that water always has its memory. So
Hmm.
during this year's rain monsoon, so that water started to come down to that IT park. So they cut down the trees, they changed the path of river, they did all of those things just to make that IT park. And during the monsoon, what happened? All the water came down to that IT park, Doon Defense Academy, that was built on the bank of the river, that fall down. So a lot of things happened just because of they playing out with nature.
Well,
And trust me.
exactly what is happening here as well. Like if you remember, just last year,
Yeah.
uh, My apartment was flooded. Most of the tech parks in
Yes,
Bangalore flooded, and there's a reason. Like what
there's a
you
reason.
were talking about, the water memory. Water has a memory, right? And all these places are actually built by reclaiming land on lakes. Bangalore
Yes,
used to be the city of lakes. Now it's called Garden. I mean, it was called Garden City, but before that, it was called City of Lakes because there were more than 1,000 lakes out here. Now there are barely 94 lakes remaining in the city out of 1,000. Can you imagine? And again, it was not just the British. The kings before that were also quite thoughtful, and they had built these lakes very strategically, not just to store water. But all these lakes were connected to each other, so that if one got over flooded, the water gets balanced out in the rest of the lakes. Now,
right.
what has happened in Bangalore is that this unplanned so-called development that is happening out here. See,
Yeah,
I'm not against development, but there should be a thought process that goes
thought
into it.
process.
Yes.
Exactly. Here also similar thing is happening right now to make an international airport here. They are cutting down 25,000 trees. So I think
Right.
it should be more planned.
Yeah,
Why?
also every time there's a flyover that comes, either 500 to 1,000 trees are sacrificed for it.
Exactly. But here
So,
they are just cutting down just for the sake of developing something.
mm.
So they should
And
be a bit
all this is angering our mother nature, right?
Mother Nature and animals as well. Recently,
And
we were able to see a tiger here.
yeah, there was a time, and there was a deer running next to our house in
Yeah,
Bangalore.
exactly.
So
And all
these
of this is happening just because of
and
we human.
obviously nature would be angry because its own children are not being taken care of,
Yes.
right? So yes, so talking about mother nature, you recently attended I'll talk about Apple.
Yeah.
You attended the Apple event recently. So
Yes.
tell us, what is the connection between mother nature and Apple event? Um,
Yeah, so the event started with Tim Cook coming there and talking about the new products, but then suddenly a very important advertisement came. I won't say advertisement, but a story came on.
mhm,
That the event started, and there were all the main major employees of Apple,
mhm,
and they were talking about carbon neutrality of Apple
mhm.
by
Right.
2030. So Mother Nature came in and she then said, "Who wants to disappoint?"
They had portrayed Mother Nature like one of their most important investor or someone,
Yes,
the big boss who's arriving, and everybody is kind of nervous, and they're running around like headless chicken, getting
yes.
things done. So they made it quite dramatic, and
It was pretty amazing. And when she
yes.
comes in, the first thing that she says is, "Who wants to disappoint me first?"
Because that's what we've been doing, right?
Yeah, that's what we have been doing. And so it was a very thoughtful advertisement, and the very thoughtful story. And then she start to ask about, so generally what a company does is they will make a full 10-20 pager report that no one reads, but here
Hmm.
what Apple did is they make this story, and that story told us everything about what Apple has been doing to make their
Hmm.
products, to take their company to carbon neutral. And already they have done a lot. Their offices are
And
carbon neutral.
for us being marketeers, it was quite a refreshing thing. I mean, how do you
Yes,
communicate, without making it boring? And obviously, no one is interested in reading your white papers
right,
release. Uh, uh, I mean, and people usually call the bullshit out there because you've filled a bunch of pages that no one's gonna read, and
exactly.
especially about how you're conserving nature. And they
Yeah.
brought the amount of, why don't we play that video for our audience? Can we do
So
that?
yeah, I think we can do that.
Yes, let's actually watch the video, and then let's have a discussion on how beautifully it has been done, and how Apple always is good at marketing, and how they have marketed for a very good cause.
Right. So let me know once my screen is visible.
Mhm. Yes, I see
So is my
something
screen
happening.
visible?
Yeah, it is, it is, but we can't hear anything. The volume. Anwar, there's no volume.
There is no volume. Oh, I think it is because of the new Chrome update. So what we
Mhm.
can do for our audience is we can put this while editing the video, and for our audience, they will be able to watch it.
Sure, sure, sure,
We
sure.
will add it here.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, let's continue with our podcast and tell audience about the best thing about this ad was this ad is so impactful that it will reach to children.
Yes.
Now kids will be able to understand what is happening with what a company is doing for their environment, for their future, how the products are being built,
And
what are the
how important carbon neutrality is,
yes.
and how important it is to work towards keeping Mother Nature happy.
Yes, it is important. Else, you will face what Uttarakhand and Himachal faced during the monsoons and in all seasons.
Right.
So the recent Apple advertisement, first of all, what I really liked about it from a marketing perspective is they were able to communicate very effectively what Apple has been doing. And this is something like, we all love the ads that Apple make. But
Right.
this is something that, we all somewhere we relate to that, yes, Mother Nature is important and what a company has been doing with their products, that also matters a lot. So
Mhm.
indirectly, this will of course increase Apple sales this year. Apple has introduced new Apple watches that are 100% made from recycle elements. So that
Right.
is the biggest achievements.
That they've done away with leather and plastic
Yes.
altogether, and they have come up with a fabric. What was that fabric called?
Yeah,
That
that fabric to make the watch straps, and then they are also doing a lot of different things, and that's why Apple has been ahead of its competitors because
right,
carbon neutrality is something many countries have also committed to become carbon neutral, and I think India it's 2050 or 2070 that we will
right.
become carbon neutral, and
And remember, Anmol, you and I, we were talking about EVs a few
yes,
in one of our podcasts, in which we had spoken how cobalt is a big issue, like the
yes,
what goes into the battery, how that is not nature friendly actually, and how Apple has actually highlighted this point that they're using first time. And they're the first ones to use recycled cobalt in their batteries.
yes, they told, yeah,
And in this present world, when electronic waste is a huge issue, Apple is addressing towards it, and now most of their products will have either zero or very less plastic,
very very less,
and
very
it'll be mostly aluminum or titanium body, right,
yeah,
for the
yes.
product.
Though it increases the product cost, but at the end, it will also increase sales of Apple because
Well, we're
people
talking
are
about Apple, so
yeah.
cost is
And at the
not
end, people relate to we are they are so when they buy Apple product, they are basically helping Mother Nature as well.
right.
They're
I mean, I think where they're spending on the quality of the product, they've saved money by keeping their supply chain close to the seashore, so
yeah,
that they can reduce the carbon footprint by 95%. That is
that
involved
goes
in transportation. So
yes,
I think obviously when we are working towards you know being nature friendly, let's not forget being nature friendly is also being economical because we are
right,
reducing waste,
right.
right? So let's talk more about how it was communicated, and how beautifully it was done, and let's talk a little bit more about how much they have emphasized about it in during the Apple event. You were present during the Apple event, right?
Yeah, yeah. They
Yes.
emphasized that. So
How big of an issue was it? And I think even when this particular skit was over, they kept emphasizing on each and every
yes,
point
yes.
during the Apple event. So let's elaborate a little bit more about it.
Totally, totally, Ashwin. Yeah, you are right. In all the product launches that they did, it was emphasized that this is what we have done for the product. This is what Apple has been doing to for the mother nature and to become carbon neutral by 2030. Not just they
Mhm.
said, but with every product they promoted this, and it
Mhm.
is being heavily told that Apple is going to do this. And I think the initiatives that Apple has been taking by 2030, they will be the first company that will be doing this. So
Completely cup. Mhm.
talking about the story that they did. So first, Mother Nature comes in. She talks about who is going to disappoint me. Then Tim Cook said, "How's the weather?" She said it was okay, as I expected. And then the manager that she
And
brought
let's
in.
not forget how she's been acting like a complete boss. Like when
Totally, totally.
I love it when she says, no, don't teach Mother Nature about how the nature works." Right? Now, what are you going to teach me how photosynthesis works?
And also she asked about iPod Shuffle. I really like that part.
Yes, and she has a sense of humor as well.
Yeah, she has a sense of humor as well. But she
Yes.
took the conversation so smooth, like from I. Then she asked about the initiatives that Apple has been taking, and then how she told the guy with the leather jacket, "Are you taking me out as well?" I really like that part as well. So
Yes,
the
and he got uncomfortable.
you get hooked to that commercial when you are watching it, and also you get information. And then she started to ask about the data pointers what Apple has been doing. Then they told their offices, products, plastic reduction, supply chain, like from start to the end they told what initiatives they have took and how they are planning to reach carbon neutrality by 2030. So I really like they even visited their showed their solar panels after that commercial, and how Apple offices have been sustaining, how they have put live plants and all
Actually,
those things.
yeah, the Apple offices have already become have zero carbon footprint now because they're
Yes,
completely running on renewable energy.
yeah,
And they are also partnering, like making sure that the companies that they're partnering with, they are also following the same
carbon.
standards.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. Yeah, and I think this is going to be big in future, and even for companies like us. We are
Right.
startups right now, but in the coming years, we will be also needing to put solar panels and all. And
But
this is not just,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
good. No, no, good, good, good.
not just some corporate social responsibility thing, but this is something that we all have to do from our heart. Then only it will
Right.
be possible. And that's what Apple communicated via that ad. For marketers, Apple did basically reach to our hearts from that commercial and
They did.
message. Yes, we are the
And
company who
actually,
is.
that's what I was coming to. Like the marketer and the digital marketer and me keeps you know congratulating the content writer out here.
Yeah,
The
totally.
content was done beautifully, and it was to the point, and it hit the spot.
To the point and to the spot.
It
I
was,
agree.
yeah, and that this is what is needed for from any campaign. And
Yeah.
obviously, we are all following
So
Apple.
for our audience, for marketers, when you are making a commercial, you need to understand who your audience is,
Mm.
what you want to tell to them, and communicate that crystal clearly.
Mm.
Until unless you don't do
And
that,
make
it
it
won't work.
foolproof. Make it
Food,
foolproof.
be
Mm.
foolproof.
Yeah.
And that's what Apple did in this commercial. So in this episode, we wanted to tell you about from this commercial what a good advertisement. And after a long time, I got a good advertisement to see that touched hearts, and not just Apple. So if you see Apple, kids use iPad. Okay, through this commercial, kids will also be able to understand what the
Right.
brand is doing for their future.
Correct.
Elders, they are also understanding. Okay, our kids' future is safe with this business. So it's not through this commercial, like it was totally mind blowing. Brilliant job, Apple team at Apple.
Yeah. Congratulations.
For marketers, and for marketers, we should take this as a benchmark whenever we are making an advertisement. How to clearly communicate, how to hook your audience. Because I watched this ad around Ashwin. I will tell you 5 to 6 times, but every time I watched it, I wasn't bored.
Yeah, I watched it 4 times, and first I watched just the ad by itself, and then when I watched the entire Apple event, I didn't watch it live, so I watched the recorded version, and when it came, I watched it all over again. I didn't
Yeah.
fast forward it.
So
Yes.
how you get hooked to that ad? It gives you a
Yes.
clear call to action. You feel a sense of belongingness to that. I will say that's why we are watching it again and again, because we are feeling some sense of belongingness, and it makes
So
you.
there's a connect that you form.
There's
I
a
mean,
connect.
you can relate to it.
So the most important thing is messaging. That's what Apple did perfectly, as well as.
And you see how it has answered all the questions that you and I already had, about the
Yeah,
stuff. Like for example, the battery itself. You and I, we were questioning how eco-friendly are batteries, and
exactly.
how they have addressed the issue.
They have addressed all the
Yes,
issues.
and so they pretty much made it like an FAQ, but
Story.
In the form of a story. It is answering all your questions, and you relate to a story only when it is actually getting into your psyche and answering the questions you already have in the head, right? So you
Right.
start feeling that it is magical and prophetic, that it is speaking what is there in your head. So that is what
Good.
was with this app.
Yeah.
Great.
Great. I think
So yes,
good
well,
everything.
I will also put the link of this Apple event
Advertisement.
and advertisement as well, and the Apple event, so that our viewers can watch it and share their feedback in the comments.
Of course. And thank you so much, our audience, for watching in. This episode was a bit of, telling you about more on the messaging part of it, as these
Yeah,
days, none of the people are focusing on this. People just talk about technicalities in marketing. But at the end, if you realize, the one who gets the basics right, gets the principles of marketing right, is the one who is able to change the game. Apple,
right.
I don't know how good they are at performance marketing, but they are very good at making the ads, and that is
Right.
what touches our heart, and that is what makes us buy Apple. Spend that extra 50,000 rupees to get a phone. But yeah, it all makes sense at the end. We all love Apple.
It all does.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the
So
key message for marketers today who are watching this episode, and
and for the people who are visiting the mountains, be responsible. Don't throw
be
garbage.
responsible.
Don't come on your huge SUVs burning all that diesel. And when you see that it is already crowded, why don't you just take a U-turn and go back to where you came from? Because you're not gonna have fun out there.
Yeah.
Getting stuck. I mean, you're better off getting stuck in Delhi and Gurgaon traffic rather than being stuck in the mountains. Yeah. So why create another traffic jam up there? And I don't know what fun you guys are having out there.
Right.
So, and if you are at all coming there, don't blare your speakers and play those dirty songs. You can
Enjoy
play
the
it.
nature.
Yeah,
Enjoy
enjoy
the
the nature, and
yeah.
don't throw garbage. Don't smoke and create
Yeah.
a scene out there. Yeah, be responsible.
Be responsible. That's the message for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will get back soon with another episode. Bye.
Bye.